Hi everyone, welcome to Healing Guide TV. I'm Carol Serby. Wanted to take a few minutes of your time today and talk to you about the human thinking pattern and negative thoughts. The most common source of negative thoughts is from your own limiting beliefs. These limiting beliefs usually start in repetition. Okay, so you have a negative thought about yourself and you have the conscious decision to say, I believe that or I don't. Most of us, if you're willing to have a negative thought about you, you believe it. So what happens then is you start to perpetuate it. It starts to become a repetitive thought. Oh, I'm no good at that. Oh, he doesn't like me. Oh, I'm too fat. Oh, I'm too skinny. Oh, my skin's not perfect, and blah, 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 right? So what happens is when you have a limiting belief that becomes repetitive, these thoughts block your natural energy flow and then thus preventing you from attracting your desire. So when we talk about the power of manifestation, bada bing, bada boom, there you go. So quit having negative thoughts about yourself. So they stop you from attracting your desire and what you deserve. Your behavior is the result of all the thoughts that precede it. So even though you might not think that you're doing things to block these good things coming in, guess what? Just by having a negative thought, like attracts like, negative thoughts attract negative actions, attract negative emotions. You see where that goes. So we need to get you shifting around and talking about things in a positive source. Other examples of limiting beliefs include that you can't do it, or that you don't deserve it, or something undesirable will happen if you do something desirable. For the example of, well, if I quit smoking, I'm going to gain weight. Okay? Or I'm unable to lose weight. How about the one, well, you only get one chance in a lifetime? Or there's always a catch. Or I don't deserve Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. Or I'll never find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. The other thing, so negative thoughts repel positive things happening. The other thing, and I've actually had personal experience with this, that's why I know it's true. Negative thoughts about yourself also invite disease. Here's an interesting thing. I want you to try it, and I want you to be conscious of it, and I want you to be aware of it. Next time you catch a cold, okay? And I want a cold specifically. There's those of you that never get them, and that's good. That's excellent. But those of you that seem to constantly battle those colds, okay? And not really because you have kids in kindergarten or whatever. You just seem to catch them. If it's out there, you're the one that catches it. What I want you to do is, next time you catch a cold, I want you to think back to 1 to 2 hours prior to the onset of the first feelings of that cold. So when you get a cold, sometimes you get the scratchy throat, or sometimes you get the plugged up sinuses, or you get the cough. Okay? Whatever the symptom is, I want you to think back 1 to 2 hours prior to that. And I want you to recognize for yourself if, and I guarantee you the answer is yes, you had a negative thought about yourself. But let's go one step further. A negative thought that created an emotion. Okay? That's where the belief comes in. If you have a negative thought about yourself that creates that collapsing of the heart, or maybe, as in my case, when I experienced this, it actually brought a tear to my eye. I actually cried over the negative thought that I had about myself. And within 2 hours, I was sick with a cold, and I had that cold for 5 days. Okay, so this is just a little exercise. Be conscious of it. Okay, try that. Now let's talk about a little bit about the human thinking pattern when it comes to negative thoughts and beliefs. First of all, your brain. Okay, your brain, your mind, wherever your mind is in your body, has a negative thought. Okay, that thought causes the electricity of the brain to change. Okay, once the electricity of the brain changes, the meridian is kind of next in line, changes. It responds. Okay, brain changes, meridian changes in response. The organs connected with that meridian probably not properly nourished with your vital energy. Okay, and that's where disease can start to develop. Vital energy I've talked about in another blog. I'll try and remember to put a link back to that one. Then your chakras come into play. Okay, the astral energy changes in the chakra due to the bad thought. Okay, so the bad thought affects the meridian, affects the organ, affects the chakra. The chakra no longer stays clear and bright and vibrant and moving as it should be. It now gets overloaded with the emotions attached to that thought. And then we go to the aura. So the negative thinking drains away the energy of the aura as well. And the colors of the aura become dull and dark. And the aura is, you can almost imagine it like a protective shield around you. There's several layers to it. I'm not going to get into the details of what it's all about, but you can imagine it as a protective shield around you. Well, what happens is when you don't have the vital earth energy coming through anymore, and your chakras aren't working properly, and your organs aren't working properly, and your meridians aren't working properly because of this negative thought, your protective system out here in your aura starts to weaken as well. And then, once that barricade between you and the next person starts to weaken, negative energy from your outside can start to come in. Okay? Like attracts like. Okay? All thoughts on that morphogenic field will become attracted. The negativity becomes stronger and happens more often. And when you get down to karma, negative thoughts against the godly plan of love, bad life conditions will be attracted. So, next time you decide, and it is a decision, okay? Next time you decide to have negative thoughts about yourself, think again, okay? Think about what you're having negative thoughts about, and how can you put it in a positive perspective. I remember one time I was working with a business development coach, and I said, oh, I only have 3 videos. And it was a negative thought, not necessarily about myself, but this is just an example. And she said, Carol, she said, you need to celebrate. You have 3 videos. You see the difference? Okay? So when you have negative thoughts about yourself, you can apply the exact same thing. Okay? Oh, oh, I'm overweight. Nobody loves me. Oh, look at this. I've got so much to love. Okay? Bring in the positive. The positive thoughts will affect the meridians positively, which will affect the organs positively, which will affect the chakras positively, auras, the law of resonance, which like attracts like. So if you're positive, positive things come in and good karma happens. So I challenge you this week to keep in check your negative thought process. Okay? We're not looking for 100%. It's fine. All I want is for you to be aware of what it can do to you. That's it for me today. Thank you very much for joining me on the Healing Guide TV. I'm Carol Serby. Good night.